So my name is Stephen Buckner. I'm the Assistant Director for Communications, looking at marketing, digital, and strategic communications, and open data is what we do day in and day out here at the Census Bureau, and I'm just so happy that other federal agencies, our tech partners, and also the wonderful people behind the projects today that you're going to hear so much about are here to showcase how important data is to our communities.
Director of the Opportunity Project, Drew Zachary.
Thank you, Mara. Hello, everyone. I'm Drew. Thank you so much for coming today. We're very excited to see such a diverse group here. I'm just going to get right into the point of why we're here. We are the Opportunity Project, and we believe that data matters, not just because data is interesting, but because it solves problems for people in their everyday lives and helps them to do things that are important to them and make their lives better. And the Opportunity Project is really a process that we use to put data to work for people and help to solve some of the biggest challenges that we're facing in the country and around the world.
So with that, please help me in welcoming the first lightning speaker for the day, who's a third-time top veteran, the COO of the Estonian American company, Ovela. Carl Pushy, come on up.
Thank you, Lorena, for the introduction and for ensuring that all of us keep sight on why we are here. Our heartfelt gratitude extends to the top and FEMA teams with whom we've worked over these months and years. An adventure similar to something from Nicholas Sparks' book, Crossing Paths with Star Wars, took me from hometown USA to the just as surreal Northern European e-government powerhouse of Estonia. This is our spacecraft, the European Space Agency Sentinel-1, and she is a twin. Together, the pair have orbited the Earth every 6 days since 2015, providing insight on the millimeter by millimeter health of every structure on the planet. Our team in Estonia, together with ESA, have developed an AI that is capable of rapidly processing and visualizing her data in a way that has dramatically changed the inspection of critical infrastructure. As a nearly zero debt to GDP nation, Estonia demanded a way to remotely inspect infrastructure without drones and people. To prevent catastrophes such as bridge and dam failures, we needed a generation leap in technology, and the orbital twins are just one puzzle piece. The unthinkable storm, the 100-year flood, the winter storm of the century are all increasing in vigor and intensity, as is our understanding of climate science. However, many of us have been missing a key element in that calculus: land motion. The Earth under us is moving at different rates everywhere, and the structures we built in the past are reaching their limits. We are here to make Earth observation accessible. This platform automatically develops the inconceivably massive amount of data from the Sentinels, giving us the ability to show which infrastructure is weak before the disaster arrives, and then amplifies the problems we need not have known were there. In our first discussions with FEMA, we reviewed the reports on national preparedness. Findings included detail on the incredible lack of disaster readiness across American communities. We immediately drew a parallel to individual health. Prior to a diagnosis of high cholesterol, few of us are going to stop eating bacon cheeseburgers. It's only afterwards does that kale salad even look remotely possible. We aim to find a way to inform communities of their level of risk in a disaster in the hope that they would actually evacuate in the next storm or take other measures to increase their readiness. Taking the Sentinel-1 open radar data together with census block files, we analyzed the motion of a swath of American communities from Baltimore to Wilmington and San Juan, Puerto Rico. From the thousands of points of motion across households, bridges, seawalls, and parks, aggregating the data up to an easy-to-understand block-level index of structural risk, something that we can now immediately use for emergency planners in those communities. In an almost unsettling twist of fate, we can now see the invisible, leading to the discovery of a nuclear power station in Pennsylvania with a cracked cooling pump structure and turbine hull, key motion indicators days before the failure of the Oroville Dam spillway in California, bridges between Miami and Key Biscayne that were worrying enough to all of us that we immediately tried to contact Florida DOT. We all know that much of our critical infrastructure is in desperate condition. However, do we have any understanding of that condition in real time when our inspection schedules are at best every 2 years, perhaps none at all, and their reports are trapped in a data silo or somebody's desk. The topic of infrastructure status extends across a wide field of our national interests. And what we have built is a tool that offers you a way to prioritize, triage, and prepare. Space may be indeed the final frontier, but together we can bring the frontier to work for all of us. From the brilliant American structural engineers teaching our AI to Earth observation teams from ESA and FEMA boots on the ground, this effort has been and continues to be remarkable. Thank you once again to everyone here, and especially our rockstar families, for believing in how we really can make an impact on disaster readiness. After all, isn't that exactly when we need it the most?
Alex Amparo is the Assistant Administrator for National Preparedness Directorate at the Department of Homeland Security's Federal Emergency Management Agency, which you know as FEMA. He is responsible for delivering education, training, and exercises to build a culture of preparedness in the United States. He has a distinguished career in emergency management over more than 2 decades. And I just wanted to highlight that in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, Mr. Amparo was instrumental in utilizing geospatial technology to deliver expedited rental assistance to survivors who were unable to access their damaged homes. So this is someone who has been really helpful not only to us in the Opportunity Project, but to communities across the country after emergencies. So please welcome Mr. Alex Amparo.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Drew. How exciting it is to be here today, especially taking a look back at 2017, 2018, that for our nation, were the most catastrophic years that we've seen in recent memory. We've had over 15% of the population, more than 45 million people that were affected in one way or the other, whether that was from the wildfires that were occurring in Northern California or in Southern California, or whether it was you were on the island of Vieques or Culebra or in the Virgin Islands impacted by Maria. And it started the end of August of 2017, where you had a powerful Category 4-5 hurricane that hit Port Aransas, Texas. It went on and it dropped 50 inches of rain in Houston. And at that moment, I thought this was a singular event that would engulf all of the agency's resources, all of the nation's resources to be able to address what Hurricane Harvey brought. It wasn't over because it kept going into Beaumont, dropped another 30 inches of rain. Weeks later, you had Hurricane Irma, which came as a Category 4, Category 5, hitting Vieques, Culebra, Puerto Rico, parts of the VI, and a beeline to the Keys, going up and hitting Southwest Florida, making landfall, another Category 4 hurricane. So what are we going to do now? We had fires burning, 2 catastrophic events. And you thought there could be nothing more. And then you had Maria that came in, and the areas that were not damaged by Irma were now damaged by Maria. Catastrophic to an island that had infrastructure that was already damaged. It didn't stop there, right? And that was 2017, 2018. And so when I see the innovation that's happening here because of the Opportunity Project and because of all you taking action now before something has happened, it is exciting, right? We're living in a changing world. And to say that all we're looking at is natural disasters, it would be a fallacy. Because we also have threats that we're having to deal with that deal with both our infrastructure that's aging, 1 in 11 bridges that are near failure, and understanding a millimeter's difference in how a bridge may be moved could make the difference between life and death. Understanding where people live and their address, the smallest thing like an address, is the difference between whether life-sustaining aid reaches that person. Understanding the synchronization of who is helped first. Right? These are all things that we've just talked about. And equally as exciting is a game. Being able to reach a different generation, an earlier generation, on how we collectively are preparing this nation for the threats that are real possibilities. You know, just north of, in Northern California, we have where the San Andreas Fault ends and the Cascadia subduction zone begins. That takes you through Oregon, through Washington, into Vancouver, lies one of the greatest threats and one of the greatest catastrophes in the making that our nation has seen in modern time. The Cascadia subduction zone, the tension that's being built up while these two plates are stuck one under the other, will cause an earthquake of magnitudes that we haven't seen, a tsunami that will devastate the area. We lost 3,000 people in 1906 earthquake that occurred. We've lost 2,000 people in Hurricane Katrina. Current estimates on a Cascadia subduction zone would be upwards of 13,000. And so what are we doing now? And how are we preparing people now? Understanding what their risks are and giving folks, an understanding that each one of us plays a role in how we prepare this nation. And we haven't even started talking about cybersecurity and the threats to our, the sectors that we have and how that will impact us. Cascading effects from power to wastewater, right? These tools that you saw today are part of the beginning. And so my challenge is continue to look for innovative ways that we can make actionable steps forward to ready this nation and really create a culture of preparedness that's part of our everyday life. So with that, I thank you all. Thank you for all the participants. Thanks to the Department of Commerce and to Census. Job well done.